By the time a kid turns 5, their brain has built over 1 quadrillion connections. The screen in your hand is helping decide which ones survive. Picture this: a baby in a high chair, sticky fingers, a tablet propped against a sippy cup glowing blue. The room goes quiet, and if you've ever been the exhausted parent in that kitchen, you know that silence feels like oxygen. No judgment. Every caregiver has been there. I'm a clinical psychologist. I've sat with hundreds of families who Googled, "Is screen time really that bad?" at 2 a.m. while bouncing a baby on their knee. So I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to tell you the truth, the brain scan, long-term study truth about what's happening behind those tiny eyes when the screen turns on. Is the screen the villain, or is it something we've been missing entirely? Stay with me. The brain scan that changed everything. In 2019, Dr. John Hutton at Cincinnati Children's Hospital put 47 preschoolers in an MRI machine and looked at their brain wiring, the white matter highways that carry information. Kids who had too much screen time had weaker wiring in the exact parts of the brain used for learning to read, lower language scores, visible differences on a brain scan in preschoolers. But here's the twist: most articles skip. The damage wasn't really about the screen. It was about what the screen replaced. Babies don't learn from watching, they learn by doing. A psychologist named Jean Piaget figured this out decades ago. From birth to age 2, babies learn through their hands, their mouths, their whole body. Banging a cup, dropping a Cheerio off the tray for the 47th time to make sure gravity still works. A screen can't give a baby that. It's flat. Nothing rolls, nothing falls, nothing teaches back. And in 2003, Dr. Patricia Kuhl proved something wild. She played Mandarin Chinese to American babies. Half heard it from a real person, half from a DVD with the exact same content. The babies with the real person learned the sounds at near native level. The DVD babies learned nothing, zero. Same words, same hours. The brain simply refused to learn language from a screen. What happens when entertainment is always one tap away? There's a second stage of development that most people never hear about. Between ages 2 and 5, children enter what Piaget called the pre-operational stage. This is the age of pretend. The cardboard box becomes a spaceship. The banana becomes a phone. The stuffed bear gets fed dinner and tucked into bed. This is not cute. This is symbolic representation, the cognitive engine behind reading, math, empathy, and abstract thought for the rest of their life. Children in this stage need boredom. They need the slow, frustrating, beautiful moment where they look around the living room with nothing to do and then invent something. But when entertainment is always one tap away, the child never has to build that inner world. The cardboard box stays a cardboard box, and the imagination muscle, like any muscle, atrophies when it's never used. The real villain, what gets stolen? Every minute a toddler watches a screen is a minute they're not hearing a real voice answer their babbling, not tracking a parent's eyes, not climbing, falling, recovering, not building what scientists call serve and return, the back and forth conversation that literally builds the front of the brain. In 2023, a massive study tracked over 7,000 kids in Japan. Babies with more than 4 hours of screen time a day were almost 5 times more likely to have communication delays by age 2. Not brain damage, communication delays. Because language gets built in the gap between two human faces, and a screen sits in that gap, silently, politely, stealing the conversation that was supposed to happen. That's what displacement looks like. It doesn't feel like harm, it feels like peace. Your phone matters more than theirs. Here's the finding that hit me hardest. A 2025 study found that the parent's screen time predicted a child's language delay almost as strongly as the child's own screen time. Read that again. Babies are wired to read your face. When your face goes blank because you're scrolling, even for 30 seconds, the baby's nervous system reads that as a tiny abandonment. Studies on the still face effect show infants become distressed within 2 minutes of an unresponsive parent. Your phone for a baby is a still face that never breaks. We've been so focused on what's on the child's screen that we missed what's happening on ours. A toddler who didn't sleep well isn't being difficult. A toddler who didn't sleep well is a toddler whose brain didn't get to file the day, and it goes deeper than the brain. Screens before bed delay melatonin, the sleep chemical, by up to 90 minutes. 80% of brain growth happens in the first 3 years, and most of it locks in during sleep. Steal sleep, and you steal the brain's chance to file the entire day. The rescue clause. But the research isn't all darkness, and I refuse to leave you in fear without giving you the way out. The same studies that show harm show something powerful. Watching together changes everything. When a parent sits with the kid, narrating, asking questions, pausing, connecting it to real life, the harmful effects shrink dramatically. In some studies, they disappear because now the screen isn't replacing the relationship. It's a prop inside the relationship. The face is still there. The voice still responds. The villain was never the pixel. It was the isolation around it. So the science-backed rule, under 18 months, basically none except video calls with family. 18 months to 2, only good content, watched together. 2 to 5, under 1 hour a day, co-viewed, no autoplay. That's not restriction, that's protection, the mercy built into childhood. I'll tell you what I tell every parent in my office. You are not failing because your toddler watched Bluey while you took a shower. You are not failing because the iPad got you through a flight. Childhood is long, brains are plastic, repair is real. What matters is that across the thousands of small daily transactions of the first 5 years, the child experiences more of you than of the algorithm, more real voices than synthetic ones, more boredom than entertainment, more hands than swipes. If you've been listening with a knot in your stomach thinking, I've already messed up, hear me clinically, you haven't. Not if you start today. The first 5 years are about 1,800 days. Inside those days, a child's brain forms up to 1 million new connections every single second. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to physically reshape itself based on experience. In children under 5, it's the most powerful biological force on the planet. It means the brain isn't finished. It means the wiring isn't locked in. It means every single interaction is a chance to build something new, and it's built through repetition, not perfection. One screen-heavy afternoon doesn't rewire a kid. One missed bedtime story doesn't undo attachment. What shapes the brain is the pattern across thousands of small moments. The look, the word, the response, repeated. It will respond to the very next interaction you have. The next one, not the last 100. So tonight, put the phone face down just for 60 seconds. Get to their eye level, the level the world looks like when you're 3 feet tall, and watch them notice you noticing them. Watch the small smile when they realize they have your whole attention, not the half-listening kind, the real kind. That 60 seconds is doing more for their brain than any app ever built for children. Because here's what 15 years of clinical work taught me. Kids don't remember the screens you let them watch. They remember whether they felt seen. A child's brain grows toward the face that turns toward them, so turn toward them. In the small moments, the boring moments, the Tuesday afternoon, nothing special moments. The screen will always be there. The 5-year-old won't. If you learned something today, subscribe. We break down the science of how young brains develop. No fear, no shame, just the truth told like a story. And tell me in the comments, what do you need help with? I read every single one.